Hello and welcome to the Fire Safety FAQ series. The first few of our videos have focused on block management and those working in the block management sector, and the questions that we've been getting from those within that industry, whether it's block managers, building owners, or block management companies. Now, without further ado, because I'd like to keep these videos as short as I possibly can for your benefit, first question I have for you today is, are fire exit signs necessary within the communal areas of a block of flats? Not necessarily. If the block is simple in layout, as in you've got just a few flats on each floor and you've got only one way in and out of the building, then there is no real requirement for signage. People would know the way that they need to go in and out because it's the only way that they can go. Bar maybe window escape. The only real way out is going to be that central stair. So there's no real requirement for signage, because why add signs when people know which way they're going to go? It serves no real purpose. And let's try and, again, signage can make things feel a little bit more like an institution. So if we can avoid putting signs where possible, then I've got no issues with that at all. And make it feel a little bit more like a home. At the end of the day, flats, it is essentially part of people's homes. So let's try and keep it as homely as we can. However, if the block is larger, has more flats, like lots of flats, and potentially if it has complex routes that involve multiple directions of escape, maybe you've got a block which has a central stair, and then it also has stairs at the ends of corridors as well to allow for different directions for people to travel or alternative means of escape. By providing signage that direct people to the alternative routes that they have, will only serve to benefit them. So yes, simple buildings, don't worry about fire exit signs if you've just got one way out. More complex buildings with multiple routes, signage should be provided. Moving swiftly on, question 2, which is, do we need to install fire detection in the communal areas if there isn't any? Now, this is a very wide question that I am going to have to just cut down as short as I possibly can to get it to fit within this video for people. So apologies if it doesn't cover a specific area that people were hoping it would cover. If the building has been designed as a stay-put evacuation strategy and has a stay-put evacuation procedure in place, and there are no active systems that have been installed within the communal areas, then detection will serve no real purpose. So in my view, and what the guidance tells us, is that detection would not be required in those environments within the communal areas. Moving on to the second scenario, if it's a stay put evacuation procedure, there are active systems planned or installed within the communal space, they will need detection likely to activate those systems. Say you've had a fire risk assessment done and they've identified that there should be an AOV system or an automatic opening vent within the communal area, then you'll likely need to add some detection to activate that vent as well. That detection does not need to sound or raise alarm. Its only purpose is to open that vent. So don't mistake it for adding in fully functioning fire alarm system that alerts people. It is just a case of making sure that vent opens. So yeah, so if you've got stay put with a active system that needs to be installed, then you will likely need to install detection to go alongside that. And the last one will be environments where simultaneous evacuation is expected, whether that's on a temporary basis or it's been designed as such as a simultaneous evacuation environment. In both of those, detection is likely going to be necessary. And I say likely because for a temporary move, there may be acceptable other ways to provide early warning. That could be you may have heard of waking watch. Waking watch is a way of also providing early warning, although they can be a gray area on effectiveness. So moving past that, so we've got the three environments: stay put, no active systems, no detection. Stay put, active systems, needs detection. And simultaneous evacuation needs detection. So hopefully that answers that one as quickly as I can. Okay, moving on to the final question for today. Some of our smaller blocks have no common areas. Do they still need a fire risk assessment? Yes, they do. Now, There have been changes in the law of recent. The main thing to consider here is that yes, it is now a legal requirement. They are still in quite simple environments, so whether you need a professional or an expert fire safety consultant to help you with these types of blocks is up for debate. There is guidance that's been released by government to allow responsible persons to try and do these assessments themselves. And I tend to advise my clients that when they bring these sort of premises to me, to first give that a go, see how they get on, because they are quite simple environments. Paying the costs for a consultant to come in seems a little bit over the top. To give you a little bit of background around the law, I don't really want to touch on this for too long because, again, it's about bite-sized pieces of information. You have the Regulatory Reform Fire Safety Order 2005. That's the main piece of legislation that we do fire risk assessments under, is where the legal requirement comes from. Hopefully you're familiar with that one. That was updated and amended by the Fire Safety Act 2021 and the Building Safety Act 2022. The Fire Safety Act updated it so that any building containing 2 or more domestic premises or domestic dwellings now fell into its scope, and the Building Safety Act updated it to say that any building that fell under its scope also needs to have a documented fire risk assessment. So that's where the legal requirement has come from, and prior to those changes is why these blocks wouldn't have had a fire risk assessment conducted. Anyway, so I try to keep that one nice and short. Hopefully it's not too short, but people can still sort of read between the lines with that one, I hope. Right, I hope these 3 questions have been of use to you and that you've managed to find some information from that. I think we're going to bring this series to an end next week with 3 of the 3 more questions. We've got about 7 left, so I'm going to probably pick around 3 out of them that I think are most useful to the industry right now. However, if you have got questions that you want to share, please share them, and if it's one that I believe that would benefit others in the industry, then we'll include that one as well. After that, we're going to look to hopefully move on to a different subject. So watch this space. Thank you for watching along. I hope you found the information useful. Feel free to give us a like and a share on this platform or any of the other platforms that we are on. We're hopefully trying to spread this message and get some much needed general information to block managers and other people within the industry. Thank you.